sir?
Yeah, my name's Lawrence, General Secretary of NAPO, the Trade Union and Professional Association for Probation and Family Court.
Rehabilitation.
NAPO has always been about embracing change where it can be of benefit to communities and the clients we see. We share an aim with Chris Grayling in that we want also to help the short-term custodial community. We said that for a long time. There were schemes such as Custody Plus which were not funded properly years ago. We believe they should have been looked at before these plans were developed and Grayling attempted to implement them. So actually we share a number of the aims. We don't believe it's right to destroy the probation service in carrying them out. Well, clearly the threat to members' terms and conditions is paramount for me, but our campaign and industrial action we're about to go into will actually focus on the risk to the public, the risk to communities, the risk of serious further harm cases as a result of a fragmented service where the providers will not all be able or skilled indeed to provide the type of offender intervention that people are used to. So we have some real issues about this. Secondly, there's the issue about whether the infrastructure is actually in place to accept a change's magnitude, and there are no signs that it is. Well, I think service users will lose the continuity of service that they've been used to. They'll be dealing with people who won't have the specific knowledge and abilities that exist in probation. We think there'll be a loss of joined-up approach. We think there's a danger that people will be lost within the system. We also believe that some of the providers, mainly from the private sector, will not be interested in rehabilitation, just profit. And I think the model for the whole TR agenda, based on payment by results, is fundamentally flawed. The idea that a provider can allow reoffending to continue for another 3 or 4 year period, whilst being given grace within that time before they show results, is quite frankly scandalous.
Offenders.
The problem with the whole thing is that Chris Grayling and his people haven't actually looked at what works in probation. And you and I know that there are local partnerships founded with years of trust and development between probation trust and other providers, private and public indeed, where that continuity has been developed, where a joined-up approach has been developed. And my problem is, I think many of the providers who are going into this with good intentions won't have the funding streams available, or if they do, it will of course be based on the fact that their partners will be looking for profit and not results in the first instance. So I have grave doubts that the operational model is safe. If it was safe, if it were trustworthy, why hasn't Chris Grayling released the risk register that underpins his whole TR agenda, which shows something like 15 elements where it's believed it's unsafe to implement the plans in the way he's trying? Well, if this grand plan goes through, this obscene social experiment, because that's the way we see it, if it goes through, you'll have a probation service that will look nothing like we know now. And once it's damaged, we think, and once it's fragmented, there'll be no way of any government, whatever its intentions, restoring it to the way it was before. Now, as I said at the start, we're about embracing change. What we'd like to do is sit down with this government and any government in the future to actually develop operational models that use the skills of our members, actually build on what works, and if we have to embrace other providers in the course of that journey, so be it. But let's do that on the basis of fair competition, because what we haven't had from this government is any opportunity for our members to actually compete on a level playing field for these contracts. If we did, then I could say with some safety that we'd have something resembling a probation service in 20 years' time that looks a little bit like now. But at the minute, I just see decimation and I see chaos in front of us.